Welcome to Songwriters from Here and Away. This is the show that focuses on new and established songwriters from Atlantic Canada, across Canada, and around the world. Hello, and thanks for tuning in to Songwriters from Here and Away. This week we have an interview and some music with Mr. John Campbelljohn. John has been around the music scene for a number of decades, playing in different bands, and then the last 20 years or so on his own, doing his blues thing in North America and Europe. He's got about 16 albums out, I think, now. And he has shared some time with us here to talk about songwriting, to share about where he's at, and just have a good chat. So we'll dive into Mr. John Campbelljohn right now. Hey, John. We're here. We made it. I've got the best cup of coffee.
The strongest cup of coffee.
The hair on my chest coffee. I wish I could get hair on my head.
Yeah. Well, I got no hair, but lots of glare.
So we're in your basement studio. It's very nice. There's a wall of CDs over there. There must be 700 CDs over there.
Pretty dormant these days.
Yeah.
A lot of streaming going on.
Have you got stuff loaded up on streaming services, all your material?
Yeah, thankfully, the leasing agreement I have over in Marienburg in Germany does all of that.
Right.
Because I license my masters to them.
Right, okay. So you've got the...
So thankfully, they save me the trouble of going through all of that.
Right.
In fact, I had a separate account. You got to get rid of that because people will be confused. But it was the same name.
Right.
So I ditched that, and my label over there handles all that headache.
Thinking of names, Campbelljohn. Is that like a stage name that now you've adopted?
Yes, in 1990, when I decided to do my own thing, my solo thing.
Right.
I'm a Cape Bretoner.
Right.
And in Cape Breton, you look in the old phone book, and all you see is McDonald's and Campbell's, and a much smaller percentage of other names. Every second Campbell family has a John.
Yeah.
And
every third Campbell, John Campbell, is playing some instrument.
Plays a Scottish fiddle, and usually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked the question because it's kind of a silly story, but I grew up as a fan of Sam Moon, Matt Minglewood, and Universal Power, and they had these crazy showbiz names that are, in the Maritimes, they're household names now. You know, Sam and Matt, and the drummer's name was Diego Gunn, and my first guitar hero was Billy Drake, who now lives in Newfoundland. His name was Rufus Kane.
Right.
That's his handle. So all these crazy showbiz names that were just awesome, and I loved it when I was a kid, not just like a teenager. So that stuck with me, and then I decided that in order to separate myself from the Scottish fiddlers, I decided that I need to change my name to something else. And I remembered a poem from by Bliss Carman. Did you ever hear of Bliss Carman, a poet? He was Canada's first unofficial poet laureate, and he spent a lot of time in the Maine, the Eastern Seaboard. Excuse me if I'm not mistaken, but was I believe born and raised in New Brunswick, or spent much or most of his life in New Brunswick, and he was a pretty prolific poet. Right. And he wrote a poem called "The Ballad of John Campbelljohn." Oh. Spelled slightly different. Right. Campbell. And I remember that poem, and I thought, well, that would be kind of an easy transition. Right. And so I did that. But boy, was I wrong. Because it's just a pet peeve, because people interpret it as my last name being John, like Elton John or Olivia Newton-John. And, and it used to be...
and think your first name was Campbell?
John, no, three names. Okay, John Campbell, John. Yeah. And then I'd see that in promo. I'm nothing like Elton John. Yeah. And I'm definitely nothing like Olivia Newton-John. I mean, the blues thing. And I got a big attitude about for years, and then I just realized it's not that big a deal.
No. Yeah. Well, no. Your name. I mean, people know your name. You know, it's in the industry. So, you've been writing much? How's that going?
Not much lately.
Been up and down?
I sit on the couch and I come up with guitar licks and a word or two, and then I grab my phone and then I send it downstairs here, mail it to myself, and I've got a list a mile long, and I open them up and I go, where do I start with this? I have a couple of co-writers occasionally we get together and develop ideas, but not been terribly active lately. The last release I had was a thing with my daughter. I Don't Want to Feel That Way is the name of the tune, and we shot some footage down here on our cell phones and sent it over to ZYX, my label, and they edited a half-decent video out of the raw, homemade cell phone footage that I sent them.
Right.
And that was about a year ago.
Gentle
So the song that we just heard with your daughter, and your daughter's name is
Cassie.
Campbelljohn, or
No, just Campbell.
Just Campbell.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm not going to wish that on any of my kids. It's too much of a mouthful.
But so did you wrote that with her?
Yeah, no? I wrote it with Neil Robertson, drummer that I worked with forever and a day.
Yeah,
Neil and I are good buddies, and
fabulous drummer.
He's the man.
Yeah,
and I asked him for some help because I was a little bit stuck, and he fired in a couple of ideas, and kabang, it was done.
Great.
And I just tracked it at home here and did the vocals at home. Towards the end of the pandemic, my friends over in Germany sent out an email and said, look, we got to keep things rolling here like every other artist and every other business in the world. You know, if you got anything, just one song, just send it to us. You know, if you think it's marketable or you're comfortable with it or whatever, send it to us. Let us listen to it because we need to keep
people interested. Yeah, you gotta keep
your
feeding,
brand or whatever.
You gotta keep feeding the trough, right? Yeah.
So they're called ZYX, and they got established, and they've been around since the 70s in the dance music business.
Right.
And then in the somewhere in the mid to late 90s, they decided to expand a bit, and they created this jazz blues label.
Right.
And they hired an A&R guy, and he was on the lookout for artists. And long story short, my manager at the time, who was a German, invited him over to the East Coast Music Awards.
Right.
And as fate would have it, one of my albums was nominated for a blues award.
Right.
And then I won it.
And they picked you up.
And so I walked up, thanked them.
Great.
So the timing was perfect. And my manager, Buddy Leonard, going, see?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, because you've toured over there a whole bunch, right? I mean, like 10 times or something, over in Germany and Europe and whatever.
Yeah, for better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
It became...
almost yearly.
Yeah, it became essential.
Yeah.
It's funny... I mean, there have been a lot of maritime artists go over there. It's certainly not unusual.
We've done a few tours. It's lovely.
Yeah.
We great audiences. We love it.
Yeah, you know the drill, yeah. But for me, it became a regular thing, so I grew to depend on it as a part of my budget.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
For the first time, it was just like a wonderful thing, and I had help with tour managing and administrative support and stuff, thanks to my buddy Leonard, who I've mentioned a few times.
Yeah.
And the first few years was an awesome thing, and then he went on to bigger and better things. I still see him occasionally. He's a good guy. So I took over. I became the road manager.
Self-produced indie.
And working with the label and blah, blah, blah. And it's a job.
Yeah.
You know, everything, I don't need to tell you.
No.
Everything, like on stage, on a good night, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah. It's everything else off the stage.
You know, I think people not in the business, or musicians who haven't really worked at trying to tour, especially internationally, you have to work it a year and a half out or 2 years out.
Yes.
Because venues book up. You have to plan the route. You have to have a million emails back and forth. You have to figure out accommodations. You have to figure out plane flights and all that. And where can you work with or without a visa? Where can you work to a certain amount of income without having to pay duties and taxes? And then it's a lot of work to get those things together.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
I make a commitment a year in advance to the agent. Are you coming or not?
Right.
And I said, yes,
we'll do it. And you block out, say, here's 6 weeks or whatever it is.
And ka-ching, I'm 10 grand in debt.
Yeah.
I just hung up the phone and I'm 10 grand in debt.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of all the costs.
Right.
And then gradually the dates start coming in and, subtract that amount of money from the debt.
Right, yeah.
And I'm going, oh my God.
Yeah, and
it's stressful.
And when we did it, we're doing like self-directed house concerts and stuff too, right? Which is a whole different management of time and effort. And
probably one of the most common questions I've asked of people who aren't in the business through the years is, do you bring your wife with you? And it must be fun. It must be great.
Are you kidding?
My wife along got 2 nights of that.
Well, Kaylin came with me. We toured as a duo, and as you know, we're husband and wife, and we stayed in the same room and did all that, and we played together, and that helps.
If you're performing together,
you cannot take someone who isn't in the show with you. Like doing something active production-wise, right?
If they're not in the business and they just enjoy music as an art for what it is and listen to the radio, I don't expect them to be administrative experts.
Yeah,
you just can't do that.
No.
It's I'm not going to subject my wife to 4 hours of sleep for a month per night for a month. She has to tolerate me sweating for a year, waiting for the dates to come in. And then I completely confiscate the living room the week before with all my loot, trying to get it all into 2 big bags and not being overweight, at about $50 per pound or something,
Yeah.
And she's glad to see me go by the end of it. She deserves a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around this world, but I never stayed alone. The only place I wanna be is on that autobahn. Gotta get the wheels turning, better tighten up your shoes. What off a hamburger in a hurry to sing a mess of blues. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. In the middle, and we're burning up the gas. But when it comes mowing, cause I'm kicking it in the ass. Gotta make it to minute, don't have a minute to lose. The man's waiting with the money, so I'll sing a mess of blues. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. Almost over, gonna play a last bar. The rhythm section screams, let us out of this car. Dance off to the airport, but something's wrong. I hate flying in a jet, I should be on the Autobahn. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. Ow! Play the blues, boy. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. They call me Autobahn John. I'm here, then I'm gone so long. So long. So long. So long. Autobahn John. Autobahn John. Autobahn John.
That was Autobahn John by John Campbelljohn, and that's who you're listening to, an interview that we did here in Dartmouth where, well, we both live here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and John's had got his studio in his basement there, and some of that stuff was recorded right there. This is Songwriters from Here and Away, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Before we dive in, we'd like to remind you to check us out online, sfhaa.ca. There are links to videos, to the live shows and meetups and songwriter events that we do, and we would love to have you on board. Back to John Campbelljohn.
We're in your studio, man. These guitars, and we got dobros and electrics. We got bass guitars. We got
Yeah, I got one bass.
bazookies, mandolin. Do you have a bazooki in there?
No, I don't.
Oh no, that just looks like a bazooki.
Oh, that's a lap guitar that
Lap guitar.
I had modified,
Yep.
yeah, because it was made of mahogany. A real good buddy of mine made that for me, but it was so bloody heavy. It was heavier than the Les Paul,
Right,
so I had it modified so I could carry it. It actually sounds pretty good.
right.
It's not the prettiest looking guitar now, thanks to me. Yeah, I've been at it for 100 years, so I acquired a few instruments along the way.
Yeah, and you're playing a lot of pedal steel.
Yeah.
How many pedals?
Careful,
on this?
you'll
2,
disrupt the dust on the guitar.
6, 8 pedals. Oh, 8 pedals, eh?
It's-
So, and these are tuned in 2 different tunings, so
That's
you
right.
can, those pedals will operate both.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
there's-
depending on what your tuning is.
Knee levers here as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a ninth E9 tuning and a C6.
Right.
It's almost stereotypical. People refer to it as a crying steel
Right, yeah.
in commercial country,
And
a C6 neck, and you know it's all those six chords.
yeah.
That's the it's just a different
more,
sound, and
that would be the jazz.
for
More
me,
blues,
yes, for
yeah.
me it's more fun to swing on this, so you jam
Yeah.
on this, but you make your bread on this.
Right.
Bread and jam.
It won't be long till I meet my maker. It won't be long till his face I see. I'm gonna meet my maker, see the God who created me. I'll face my day of judgment, my sins I will confess. I'll face my day of judgment, see if I am cursed or blessed. Never been a true believer, but I know there is a hell. Heaven is another question. Heaven is a tougher sell. Little doubt about the evil acting in this world today. Lots of doubt about the good things happening
And you're recording right now. I see you got a project up. That's you said you were doing some cover tunes.
Yeah, that's just a bunch
tunes?
of work tunes I've put in my DAW, digital audio workstation. You know what that is.
Yeah. So you do tracks for people at home. Do you do much of that, or?
Yeah, off and on.
Yeah. You're looking for work?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So now you can talk to John about getting some tracks.
Yeah, I've done that. It's very common these days. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
If they have access to a studio, the client sends an MP3 of a rough mix, and you record your tracks and sync them up with the MP3. And
it's a changing landscape with the technology. I feel like a dinosaur, even though I know a fair bit about tech. I find that the music industry has changed so much over the 20, 30 years that it's a challenge to wrap your head around where to go with it.
Now you get AI. I know A because the Cape Bretoners talk like that in Canadian, A. The I part.
The Canadian, the Canadian
I'm still trying to figure out the I part.
Yeah.
I was talking to an audio engineer the other day. He says, I got about 5 years left, and then AI is going to do everything at home for you.
Right.
You're not going to need me anymore.
Yeah. No, it's like I say, it's a changing landscape.
What happened about a year ago? Let me tell you people what happened about a year ago. I thought it was something that you people like to know. I drove 600 miles to play a 45-minute show. I drove 600 miles to play a 45-minute show. Well, the promoter man said, boy, that's the way it goes. I got cat food sandwiches waiting for me backstage. I got cat food sandwiches waiting for me backstage. And the woman who made them looks just like Jimmy Page. I got the sweat and cheese smell like some old kind of tennis shoe. I got sweat and cheese smell like some old kind of tennis shoe. Will the flies buzz around it? The bees, they like it too. I got opal beef, oil slick ham. Mystery meat looks just like Spam. Some kind of vegetable worn and frayed. Ranch dressing, industrial grade. That's right, I ain't lying. Oh look, there's lips and nose and ears and tongues. Come on boys, let's get us some. It's all right there in a gelatin base. Put them all together, got an animal face. That's right, I ain't lying. No sir. ham. Mystery meat looks just like spam. Some kind of vegetable worn and frayed. Ranch dressing, industrial grade. That's right, I ain't lying. Oh look, there's lips and nose and ears and tongues. I just can't wait to get me some. It's all right there in a gelatin base. Put them all together, got an animal face. Oh yeah, I ain't lying, no sir. Mystery meat looks just like spam. Some kind of vegetable be warm and freed. Ranch dressing, industrial grade. That's right, I ain't lying, no sir. Ow!
You used to do a lot of open tunings on the guitar and play the slide guitar. And you mentioned to me that you're now changing what you focus on when you practice and learning. Tell us about that.
Sure. After my second record, I began to focus more on open tunings because I always enjoyed playing slide guitar. I think it first started the moment I heard Duane Allman playing Statesboro Blues.
Oh, right.
I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that it was this guy playing a guitar. I had no idea about how he could make it sound like that, and it gave me goosebumps. Man, I gotta find out what's going on here.
Yeah.
But I was just a kid. That was 71 because he died in the fall of 71. So yeah, and so I was 16 at that time, and so through the years I found out that after a year of trying to figure that stuff out in standard tuning and being really proud of myself all over the neck, because not to get too technical, but a standard tuned guitar, there's just more space that you have to travel to get to all those notes. Mm-hmm. A friend told me, no, he plays open E. What? So anyway, I tuned open E and a big light went on. And I thought, wow, that's what he's doing. Duane Allman. And then I discovered Rycooder and a bunch of, so I really had an affinity for slide guitar. It really appealed to me, and so I played some slide guitar on my first album, and then on my second album I focused more on it because it was just my passion, and less on standard tuned guitar. And then I think I remember where I was playing a gig in Port Hawkesbury, and I thought, I really love doing this. And I'm constantly tuning back and forth and switching guitars and at the same time I'm kind of trying to look at the big picture about making a living, because I had just gotten married a few years back. My kids are really young. Mm-hmm. I'm out on the road. I have to bring money home. This is like not a party, right? Yep. So I thought, if I'm gonna play the long game, I really got to focus on what I'm passionate about, what I think I can sustain a living at, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I thought, well, everybody and their grandmother wants to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan because he had such an incredible impact on blues guitarists.
Right. Because
of his awesome talent. And, I don't need to go on about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Everyone knows about him. Yeah. That'll tell you right there. Yeah. It's a household word. So I thought, I can't do that, or I'll just be lost in the. Friend of mine called it a strat in a hat, and I'll just be another strat in a hat. And so I decided at that point to really focus on playing what I love the most, which was slide guitar. Yeah. And so I did. And luckily enough, it was a significant contributor to me getting my first record deal over in Europe.
Something different.
Because it wasn't another strat in a hat guy. Yeah.
wanna be lonely, that's my rule. You can tell me that I'm a fool. I wanna stay home all alone. Pull the plug from my telephone. I'd rather be lonely if I can have you. What I need, being lonely, that's my creed. I'm gonna pull down all the shades until the last bit of daylight fades. I'm gonna stay lonely if I can have you. What I say, I'm gonna be lonely both night and day. I don't want to laugh or sing. I feel no need to spread my wings. I'll just stay lonely if I can have you. I'll just stay lonely if I can have you. I wanna be lonely if I can have you.
You're listening to John Campbelljohn, and that was I Want to Be Lonely. Just wanted to mention, this will be a podcast, and it will be longer. There will be a few extra tunes on it and some more chat with John Campbelljohn. Here we go.
So that was like on about your third and fourth albums. You were really investigating that?
Yeah, that was the late 90s.
Right.
And so I just forgot about standard tuning.
All right.
And focused on open tunings. But it's still very simplistic open tuning. 3-chord open tunings and all the embellishments that go with it,
right,
with different styles. And I've managed to make a living at it.
Right.
And so then, through the years, that's what I did. All the talk about preparing for the European tours and all blah, 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 blah. It was all me going over there with my open tunings and playing my tunes from my releases. And they're all basically open chords, as interesting as I can get based on open notes, open tunings. And so then the pandemic hit, and everyone's at home.
Right.
And everyone's struggling. And I thought, my God, I've been at this for 40 years, and I forget how to play the guitar. I realized when I picked up a standard tune guitar, like 95, 98% of every other guitar player out there, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't play it anymore.
Pick up a guitar at a friend's place, and it's like you're in a different planet, right? Yeah.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so I kind of thought, well, you know, I'm basically a 3-chord blues guy.
Yeah.
And, I got to get my act together. So I just started, I always liked jazz, could never play it, but I always loved the swing element, anything that swings,
Right.
So I started exploring the 1-6-2-5. Again, not to get technical, but
standard changes for simple jazz changes.
I've heard you
or
play,
blues.
You know more than I do. And I discovered that this isn't the walk in the park that I've been taking for granted, And then I discovered 2-5s, which I thought I'm embarrassed to say I thought a 2-5 was, if you're in the key of A, the 2-5 would be a B minor and an E. You know, what's the big deal? Everyone making a fuss about these 2-5.
I've been playing those chords for years, right? What the hell?
It turns out there's 2-5s on every conceivable chord, leading up to every conceivable chord in every song, right? And you know that. Yeah. But I didn't.
And as a transition to get you from one chord to another chord, or even to other keys, you can slide through different chords, and the 2-5 is one of the changes.
Arguably the most popular change in jazz.
Absolutely, yeah.
And here I'm thinking it only happens once in a song, right? And I thought, how naive. And so I thought, I had my head a shake, like, I really need to look into this. And
cool.
That's kind of been what I'm doing. I don't feel I've advanced, but I get a better understanding. And that's what's been occupying my time since the pandemic. I've done a few shows here and there. Yeah. And
so do you do the standard tunings when you're doing shows now, or like or do you mix it up?
If I'm hired to do a sideman gig, which I really enjoy these days, because if I get a pedal steel sideman gig, and there's some really awesome players out there, then I'm really grateful for it, and that's a real passion.
Right.
And then I'll supplement that with perhaps some standard tuning thing if the gig calls for it.
Guitar and whatever,
Yeah. So as a result of ignoring standard tuning guitar, now I've got to pick up the open tune slide guitar again and get my act back together.
Right, yeah.
So I'm in a constant flux of what do I do?
Yeah, because if you go out and do a John Campbelljohn show now, you need to be able to do. How many albums have you got?
Oh God, 15-ish.
15. So you have to be able to go through some of that old material if you're doing a show, or you want to, maybe. And so you have to kind of cross over the different styles.
You're gonna get knocked down.
Do you play acoustic on stage ever?
Occasionally, yeah. But it's a struggle to get a good acoustic tone, especially through an amplifier.
Yeah, right.
So there are certainly ways around that.
Right.
There's relatively new technology out there. It's been around for years, but only in the past, couple of years, impulse responses that you can use.
Amplifier modeling.
Well, that's another...
Right, that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up the modeling thing a long time ago, and there's ways to EQ it, make it sound real.
Right.
And now, as it turns out, modern technology, everybody and their grandmother is using them, even live on stage.
Right, yeah. Would you mind grabbing a guitar and show us a couple of the things, the differences that you're talking about, or share a tune? Or
well, I could, but it's pretty fundamental stuff. There's guitar players out there that, I'm no Chet Atkins. It's just... So yeah, like I was saying...
Is this guy standard tuning now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, this is standard tuning. So for years, I would do an open chord version of, as an example.
Right.
Or maybe an A. And so you go on through the 12-bar changes, 3-chord blues.
Yep. Yeah. Out of the 4.
So that's more of a Delta Chicago-ish thing, sloppily played early in the day here.
Yeah.
So I would, in an open chord tune, which I could probably play for you in a bit.
Yeah.
So it's basically 3 chords.
Yeah.
Right? And, or a jam over a flat 3. And variations of that, and songs written around the 12-bar format. Not strictly 12-bar at all times, but basically simplistic.
Blues, yeah. 1, 4, 5, like as in the key of E, you'd be playing an A and a B.
Yeah.
And maybe you'd throw in a F sharp or something once in a while or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pandemic hits, and I thought, I've been playing blues all my life. I like to call myself a blues player, but I only know 3 chords. At least this is my feeling at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I can hardly play here. I thought about that. I thought, I've always enjoyed other players and how they move around the neck or the keyboard, and just sounds so beautiful based on 3 chords. I'm like, what is going on? I got to sit down and attempt to figure this out. So that's when I started to, try to get familiar with the 1625. And as an accomplished, talented musician yourself, this is just 12-bar blues, right?
With substituting chords to fatten it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's easy to say if you've only played 3 chords all your life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so this sounds very much jazz. Like most people, the average listener calls that a jazz tune. Even though it's jazz blues form, with the chords of jazz chords kind of dumped on top, right?
Yeah. So when you start embellishing those 3 chords, it starts sounding jazzy. But I'm here, for anyone's watching this, I want to go on record saying I'm not a jazz player.
Right.
That is a real sophisticated, beautiful form of music, and it takes a lifetime to sort it all out, figure it all out, and practice it and build. So to answer your question earlier about new projects, it's not my intention to put out some sort of quasi-jazz blues record that I just need to know. It's my own sort of passion or labor of love.
Yeah.
You know.
Show us the money trail. Where does it go? Wait a minute, never mind. We already know an ancient story from the earliest days. The rich get richer and the poor man pays. This world is upside down. Let's turn it right side up. Fighting like dogs, tearing at each other for the crumbs that fall from the laps into the gutter. With sleight of hand and power plays, the rich get richer and the poor man pays. There's enough to go around. Let's all drink from the cup. King Tutankhamun had millions of slaves building his pyramids, going to their graves. Why do we still have kings today when the rich get richer and the poor man pays? This world is upside down. Let's turn it right side up. There's enough to go around. Let's all drink from the cup. Show us your money trail. Where does it go? Wait a minute, never mind. We already know. Yes, an ancient story from the earliest days. The rich get richer and the poor man pays. The rich get richer and the poor man pays. The rich get richer and the poor man pays. The rich get richer and the poor man pays. Oh, the rich get richer and the poor man pays. Yeah, show me the money trail. Yeah, tell me where does it go? We already right side up. There's enough to go
That is John Campbelljohn with The Poor Man. All I can do is ask you to go check it out online on your favorite podcast platform. Look up Songwriters from Here and Away. And please sign up, register, like, do all those things. Find us on the interwebs, anywhere you go, and give us your support, because it's more than support for us. It's support for those artists that we have on the show.
I don't mind admitting that for much of my life, I thought these 2/5s, this is real technical musician stuff, theory stuff, not really technical, but not your basic mainstream fan-based stuff. I thought, like, for example, in the what's the song? Moon Dance. How does Moon Dance go?
Yeah, A minor, B minor, C kind of group.
Anyway, I thought the 2-5 was in the key of A. The 2 would be your B flat minor,
B minor,
or minor 7, and then a 5.
E chord. Yeah.
So it's a 2-5. So there it is. You first learn the guitar. Probably the third chord you learn, or the fourth chord you learn, would either be a minor 6 or a 2 minor, right?
Right.
I'm thinking, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Right. Totally clueless. So then I find out that in a 12-bar blues, there's diminished, and then there's a 2-5 going to the 6, and the 2-5. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on.
You can get around the neck, and you can move around from chord to chord. It was so smooth.
Well,
yeah.
The same applies for any instrument. It's a beautiful thing watching piano players go through those 2-5 movements. You know, to someone like yourself that knows what they're doing. It's just, I'm a real fan of it. You know.
Or Bill Stevenson, I sat down at Bill's house around his piano, and he's just got a lovely touch, and he knows jazz changes like that, just like lickety split.
Oh, right? This is when I'm talking about here. This is Sesame Street for someone like Bill and yourself. You know. So I'm sitting there going, I got the nerve to call myself a blues player.
Yeah.
And I can't get past A, D, and E.
Well, you know what? It's not about it's not about the technicality. It's about the heart and finding the right notes that feel good. It's true. Totally believe that.
It's true.
One
note can move you.
On the
like yourself, through the years, you'd be in various bands. Before I decided to do my John Campbelljohn thing,
Right.
not to be confused with John Campbelljohn.
Yeah.
I would sit in my hotel room and I'd listen to George Jones.
Right.
And when I remember when I was a kid, when I was like a young, almost toddler, like 7, 8, 9.
Right.
Tammy Wynette and George Jones would come on the radio, but Beatlemania had struck. So I had no respect for George Jones. As a kid, I thought, this is annoying and boring to me, Dad. Can you change the channel? I want to hear the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then a light went on. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is I have a real, I'm really drawn to country sounds.
Right.
Right. Of course, country like jazz and like blues has evolved into something that's totally different from the traditional stuff that I'm referring to.
Right.
Yeah. And that's okay, but.
Well, yeah, and all those Nashville cats that played all that country stuff, they could kill on the blues and the jazz and the whatever, anyways,
God,
right?
Yeah.
And there's influences you can hear even in the 50s and 60s of those records. You hear certain notes and stuff that they're kind of drawing on those influences when they're playing some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Those guys were playing all sorts of styles because they were session musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bobby Wood, the keyboard player, I was lucky enough to meet him and hang out with him a lot. And he did Elvis. He did
Bobby Woods,
piano player.
Yeah.
And he did a bunch of Elvis tracks through the 60s. He was like the house guy. He did a bunch of Garth Brooks albums.
Really?
All the
Nashville, I guess.
Nashville cat, yeah. And amazing, right? And he's got the touch and he's got the thing, and it's about feeling that moment and feeling the note as you play it, and that's what makes the difference. It's not the technicality of the notes, it's the feel of the note, that instant in time of dropping the note at the right moment. And that's why when you play what you play, whether it's simple or not, the reason it sounds good to me and everybody else who loves John Campbelljohn is because that instant in time when you're dropping your fingers on that note, right? And it speaks from whatever part inside you that makes it sound like you. And that's what makes it beautiful, right?
I certainly agree. You should have been a poet if you articulated that so nice. But it's absolutely true. One note can move me. George Jones, kind of dating myself, but George Jones can. B.B. King. When
32 bars later, one note, and he's still playing.
When I was a
note.
kid, the only access to blues I had was B.B. King albums at Wilco, and the rest was top 40.
Yeah.
Same as any other small town.
Yeah.
So B.B. King was the only thing. So I ended up, thanks to my folks and saving up my money, I through my teen years, I acquired a handful of B.B. King records.
Yeah.
So then I ended up in Toronto for a couple of years, and B.B. King came to town. This is much later in the late 70s. And my first impression was, well, God, it'd be so nice to see B.B. King, but, I got so many of his records, like what else? I'll be going and seeing stuff I've heard him play in the albums, but it'll be nice to see him in the flesh.
Yeah.
So I went to the show, and he just blew my mind, improvising those same 3 or 4 or 5 notes.
Yeah.
Just
same 3 or 4 chords, same 4 or 5 notes. The way you're describing
it, that note, the feeling in the moment, it was just such a thrill.
Well, even Hans Zimmer, who does huge soundtracks, he's incredible soundtrack guy for movies. His philosophy is you pick a simple melody, 3, 4, 5 notes, and you make variations of it, and that's your structure for the song or for that whole section or whatever, right? And it's the same for music, really. If you keep it simple at some level, and you may improvise and make variations around it, but keeping the tonality in the center of those few notes makes it so that we dive into the music better, right? It's amazing. I analyzing music, not something I do much, but when I have and I listen to it, there's a lot of notes there, but really there's 4 or 5 key notes through that solo or through that whole song. And there's like 3, 4, or 5 notes that really make this thing sound the way it does, which is fascinating to me.
One thing I don't deliberately try to do, but I find myself instinctively, I don't know, if you have, like, I'm a big believer in a simple chord change. As much as I'm fascinated, this 2/5 stuff, that's on a want to know.
Give
basis.
me a 2-chord song.
Yeah, and if the feeling is there, it moves people. Yeah. Instead of having to focus on jazz people, I can sit back and listen to sophisticated jazz and really appreciate it and be really thrilled by it, and I get an emotional, uplifting feeling from it. But at the same time, I kind of rehashing what we're already saying, but I think what I'm trying to say here is a simple melody of 2 or 3 or 4 notes over a variety of chords seems to say something that makes sense, as opposed to a yappy melody with a whole lot of chord change.
Thank you for hanging out here, and we will see you online and see you next time.
Maybe I'm just another Superman standing on the top of the world looking down. I don't wanna fall when the fear gets too much. I don't wanna crash into the waiting crowds. Tired of facing the same old situations, gotta save them in the nick of time. I want a day, give me some space. I wanna sleep straight through the night. If I had a simple life, I'd sit and celebrate, and in the quiet I would close my eyes and drift away. I'd take my time in the sun, I would always be young if I could taste a simple life. I'm sick of chasing those higher expectations, but I never reach the finish line. I'd settle for less if the rest of the world would see that no one makes it out alive. But if I had a simple life, I'd sit and celebrate, and in the quiet I would close my eyes and drift away. I'd take my time in the sun, I would always be young if I could taste. If I could just take off this cape and give myself a break, take my time and save the world another day. But I don't, and I won't, no I don't. But if I had a simple life, I'd sit and celebrate, and in the quiet I would close my eyes and drift away. I'd take my time in the sun, I would always be young if I could taste. And if I had a simple life, I'd sit and celebrate, and in the quiet I would close my eyes and drift away. I'd take my time in the sun, I would always be young if I could taste. Young if I could taste. Young if I could taste a simple life.